How's everybody doing tonight? That's awesome. I call this my having sex is like being on a road trip and having to pee in a Gatorade bottle bit. I hope it's not too subtle. But having sex is like being on a road trip and having to pee in a Gatorade bottle. It feels good. It's a necessity at the time, but halfway through, the only thing I'm thinking about is what am I going to do with this Gatorade bottle after I'm done? I guess I could just wait till the next truck stop and ditch it there, or I could roll down the window and just throw it out and hope there's no cops around. Having sex is like being on a road trip and having to pee in a Gatorade bottle. You never realize somebody else used it as a spit cup until it starts to burn. Having sex is like being on a road trip and having to pee in a Gatorade bottle or a water bottle. It feels good peeing in something that costs so much that should be free. I could do 5 minutes of these, but let's change the subject. Remember when you were a kid and you actually thought people were good at their jobs? I used to actually try on homework and get C's and be like, I'm a fucking idiot. That was until the guy who sat behind me who got D's became a school teacher. They say you can't understand a parent's love until you have a child of your own. Once you see your kid for the first time, it completely changes your worldview. Same thing happens when someone you grew up with becomes a teacher. It's impossible to understand how pointless public education really is until someone you know who bought oregano 3 times in one day on spring break becomes a teacher. That's what drives me nuts about the media when it comes to these teacher sex scandals. They never ask the right question, the real question. What were his grades? What were they before Mrs. Reynolds started blowing them, and what were they after? Because this whole cutting class sizes and throwing money at the problem doesn't seem to be working. If little Jimmy was a C student but then started getting B's because he had his dick halfway down Mrs. Reynolds' throat, maybe we should extend the program. Pun intended. I mean, it would have worked on me. I had one hot teacher my whole time in high school. And in my 11th grade year, I had 119 absences, and that's not a joke. But that same year, I had perfect attendance in photography class. I'd wake up at 10:30, go to photography class, not get blown, get depressed, go back to bed, beat off to what Mrs. Giblin was wearing that day, fall asleep like every good man does, and wake up for baseball practice. If she'd have been a science teacher who blew me, I'd be on the fucking space station right now. Everyone has that friend who loves the world's shittiest bar. He acts like at happy hour they just give away free pussy. Yay, here, take Tina. That'll be $4 for the Corona, though. And then you get there and it's 4 walls, 5 dicks, and house music, and you're like, what the fuck? Why are we here? Then you realize it's because back in 2002, the planets aligned, and he hooked up with some drunk whore there that would have fell on a fire hydrant if it told her she was pretty, because she just broke up with her boyfriend. That would have been me in science class. I would have shown up every day dressed like I was on the red carpet of the Oscars going, are you going to blow me today? I got perfect attendance and straight A's, but the only thing I would have gotten out of it was blue balls, PhD in science, and unrealistic expectations. And that's the real tragedy of this. For these kids, for the rest of their lives, they're always going to be chasing that dragon. They could have a reverse gangbang tomorrow with 100 hottest chicks in the world, and they'd be like, it's all right for a Tuesday. There's no Mrs. Reynolds, though. That's my time. Thank you, everybody.